Welcome everyone back to weekly weather updates, and in today's video we're going to have a look at the latest from the live radar, run for the UKV, have a look at the precipitation and the temperature over the next 5 days, as we are going to see some very dry and very warm conditions for many throughout the rest of this week. The temperatures could peak this weekend at around 25, 26 or even 27 degrees. Unfortunately, if you do enjoy summer weather, then this has been upgraded since yesterday, as the upper air temperatures have slightly increased and the level of sunshine has increased as well, all culminating those temperatures edging up today. Now we have some temperatures throughout this afternoon up towards the 21 degree, and we'll have a look at those top temperatures in a minute. As I said, it's only going to increase over the coming days, with the temperatures building by around a degree or two each day before they culminate and peak through the weekend. Some areas across western Scotland and Northern Ireland specifically could see some lingering rain and cloud at times, and that's all due to the fact that there is low pressure trying to push in, but it is going to be unsuccessful, and it's just going to give a little bit of rain in those areas. But for most, it is bone dry, or at least relatively dry, apart from maybe the odd shower, and turning very warm indeed. The only caveat we have got is that in the longer range, it is looking like it will turn cooler and unsettled once again. There's a pretty strong signal in around 7 days' time. We are going to see low pressure pushing back in either from the west or from the south, not only bringing slightly cooler conditions, but as I said, bringing much more unsettled conditions. And if that low pressure system does develop further southwards, while we'll still have some of the warmth and humidity through maybe Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday next week, we could see some pretty intense thunderstorms. That's something we looked at in yesterday's video, and we'll continue to have a look today. But as I said, the headline really is the very warm and dry weather we're going to be seeing over the next sort of week or so. And dare I say, a little bit of heat potentially coming this weekend. So do remember, if you enjoy my videos, make sure you like and subscribe, and remember to follow me on Twitter as well, the link's in the description. Now, if you start on the live radar through this evening, it is pretty bone dry for many. There are a few showers around, and we did see a few isolated thunderstorms breaking out. That was expected, as we saw in yesterday's video, and again, not too widespread. Do put on the temperatures as around 8 PM. Still see warmest conditions through central England, where we do have less in terms of wind and less in terms of cloud, allowing those temperatures to rise to around 20 degrees today. Only get warmer over the next few days. Now, if you go over to net weather, you can see the top temperatures here. Again, this is not every single weather station, but you can see many got up towards that 19 or 20 degree range, and a few across the south coast got up towards the 21 degree range. So very warm indeed, and as I said, it will only get warmer over the next few days. Now, if you go over to the latest UKV and start on the precipitation, you can see this afternoon a few showers around, nothing too much. And as we head into tomorrow, you can see a bit of rain potentially developing across western Scotland and into Northern Ireland and the western parts of the Republic of Ireland, as we do see a weather front trying to push in. But it does make very little progress through Wednesday evening and eventually just dissipates away into Thursday. And we can still see a little bit of lingering cloud and rain in places, but for most, it is pretty dry with some outbreaks of sunshine. Thicker cloud around, yes, because of that weather front and the remnants of that weather front, but still really quite pleasant. Into Friday, though, we start seeing more breaks in that cloud as the high pressure really centers over the top of us, and this is where temperature could really pick up in towards the low or even mid-20s. And then look at Saturday, where we see lots of sunny conditions, and the same into Sunday, where again we see pretty widespread sunshine, and those temperatures said could rocket upwards towards that 25 to maybe as high as 27 degree point. Could even get higher. We've seen a bit of an upgrade from the models in the past 24 hours, around 23, 24 yesterday, up towards 26, 27. Could get slightly higher. Wouldn't expect it to get much higher, or we'd see some drastic changes in those upper air temperatures. But I do think it could get even a little bit warmer potentially. Now, the reason why it's got a bit warmer on the surface is because the upper air temperatures by the weekend are forecasted to be a couple of degrees higher than we thought a couple of days ago. Now towards 10, 11 degrees instead of 7 or 8. And we're seeing more sunshine, allowing more of that warmth to build. Now, if you look at the max temperature you see this afternoon, as expected, widely mid to high teens, touching 20 degrees. Into tomorrow afternoon, it's a similar story. Again, widely high teens, touching 20 degrees, and it's due to the fact there's a bit more cloud and there's that rain in the northwest. So pretty much equal today, maybe slightly better in some areas. And then into Thursday, we really start to see those temperatures build by the afternoon, more widely up towards that 21, 22, maybe even 23 by Thursday afternoon. As we head into Friday, temperatures not dropping away all too low overnight, especially inland, only 14, 15 degrees in some areas, so pretty muggy night. And by the afternoon, look at that, widely up and down the British Isles, we're around the 20 to 22 degree mark, and again could see a 23 or 24. So this was kind of the peak temperatures we were seeing yesterday, but it's only going to get warmer into the weekend. And you can see by Saturday at 9 a.m, already 19 to 21 degrees, just showing you the warmth that's there. Proper summer conditions. This isn't some late spring, these are proper summer conditions. And you can see by the middle of the afternoon, we are widely into the low 20s, if not getting towards 24 or even 25 degrees. And it's not just areas in the south or the east, it's up and down the country. The far south coast, 22, 23. The far north coast of Scotland, 20 to 22. And finally into Sunday, another muggy night. And by the middle of the afternoon, temperatures once again widely towards the mid-20s now, if not touching 26, 27. You couldn't even rule out a 28 there. And a minor upgrade, we could be looking more widely at 26, 27, and that does bring in the risk in a few areas. The models are still slightly underdoing it, which is plausible at this time frame. Could even get 30 degrees potentially. I do think there's a low chance, maybe 10%, 20% at most, but it is definitely there. It was out of the picture a few days ago, but the upper air temperatures have upgraded slightly, and days of warmth building on top of each other could allow us just about to get close. We're not going to get anywhere higher than that, realistically. I think the most likely temperature is around that mid to high 20s point, but there is the possibility we could just about nudge 29 or 30 degrees if we get the exact right scenario. But regardless, if it doesn't quite get there, I still think 25 to 27 is very warm and pleasant indeed. That's above average for even the middle of summer, let alone early May. So things really turning on its head from a really quite cold end to April to now a really quite warm start to May. And this hasn't come out of nowhere, but it definitely has built over the past sort of 3 or 4 days from a dry spell to maybe a bit warmer and drier to a potentially very warm and dry spell, and now potentially to even a bit of a hotter spell for a couple of days this weekend. Now, if you look at the longer range, you'll be able to see that it's not likely to last, unfortunately, as we head into the middle of the month. High pressure building in at the moment, and this is the high pressure that's going to give us very warm conditions. Now, the reason why the upper air temperatures have increased and the surface temperatures have increased for the weekend is because as we head through Saturday and Sunday, you can see the low out of the Atlantic starts to squeeze the high pressure, and this allows the winds up from the south to get slightly stronger, and this allows warmer air from the Mediterranean to get drawn up through Saturday and Sunday, and we could equally see very warm conditions on Monday. But you do see this area of low pressure to our south, and we are going to be seeing heavy showers and thunderstorms starting to move in. You see dry through most of Sunday. By Sunday evening into Monday, then we start to see thunderstorms. So unfortunately, yes, this area of low pressure has allowed that very warm or even warmer air mass to move in for the weekend, but by Monday and Tuesday, could be seeing some pretty intense thunderstorms and just generally more unsettled conditions as this low moves in. You can see it's not completely dominated by low pressure, so there will still be dry conditions next week, but it will likely turn fresher as we do start to see some slightly cooler air masses mixing in, but still likely to see 20 degrees in this sort of scenario. Beyond that, we do unlock a bit more of a westerly flow, and you can see towards 384 hours, it is looking pretty unsettled and pretty cool, and actually a pretty cold air mass there by 384 hours. So really flipping it on its head here. Look at that, 12 or 13 degrees by the 23rd of May. If we go to this Sunday, you can see temperatures potentially up towards the mid-20s. GFS actually not quite as warm. Maybe that's due to the fact it's got a few more showers around. But if we go to Saturday, for example, again, it's slightly warmer. So this just shows you the GFS is underdoing those temperatures a little bit compared to what the UKV, and we'll compare that to the GM and the Eastern OF in a minute, because I suspect those are quite a bit higher. So a little bit unusual from the GFS, perhaps just got a bit more cloud, got a bit more showers around, especially through Sunday into Monday. Now, if we compare to the GM, again, high pressure building in, very warm and dry through the weekend, and then you can see that low pressure eventually squeezing in for Monday and Tuesday, not pushing to our south as quickly, so it could actually be more of a prolonged unsettled breakdown, but eventually it moves away, and we actually do see a bit of high pressure building in. But you can see the wind direction is more from a north or northeasterly, which means it will be slightly cooler and generally just a little bit fresher there. As I said, if we look at the 2 meter temperatures and compare it to the GFS, you can see through Saturday temperatures into the afternoon. Again, we are looking at the mid-20s, 23, 24 here. So a degree or so down from the UKV, but very similar. Pretty mild overnight temperatures. And by the middle of the afternoon, look at that, widely 23 to 25. So again, similar to the UKV, maybe a degree or so down, but that's not too unexpected with slightly lower resolution. So broadly in line with the UKV today from the GM. So yeah, unusual from the GFS to be good 3, 4, 5 degrees off, but as I said, it could just be due to the fact that it's got a bit more cloud, a bit more rain moving in earlier than the other runs do have. So if you look at the east of the Rift to finish off, again, the high pressure building in, we do see that low eventually arriving through Tuesday, giving us unsettled conditions. You see it's actually parked over the top of us. That will be pretty cold and unsettled indeed. And eventually you can see the breakthrough of some actually pretty cold air by day 10. Look at that, the minus 10 isotherms getting drawn our way. So from going very warm this weekend to potentially very cold in a matter of 3 to 5 days, that would be pretty horrible indeed. You couldn't even rule out some snow again across Scotland in this sort of scenario, but fingers crossed that doesn't come off. That's all due to the fact that the specific orientation of the low here, slightly different positioning, then we wouldn't be anywhere near this cold air. So we'll have to see exactly how that does play out. But again, very similar in terms of it breaking down the high pressure and the warmth by early next week, bringing more unsettled conditions and more variable air masses as we head towards the middle of the month. Now, if you do finally compare to the ensembles, these are the latest GFS. You can see a big upwards trend over the next week, peaking around 10, maybe 11 degrees at 850 HPA, but still a bit of uncertainty for the weekend. And that's why we're not sure whether it may be 24, 25, or maybe 28, 29, or even an isolated 30 potentially. You can see, though, big precipitation spikes as we head through Monday, Tuesday, and Wednesday, and the upper air temperatures dropping back towards average. Still actually above average, but within a degree or two of average. And as I said, turning a lot more unsettled, and that's looking to dominate the middle period of the month. See the 2 meter temperatures spiking as well, widely into the low to mid-20s through this week. And if we finally compare to the ECMWF, again, broadly very similar. Spike in warmth later this week, around 6-7 degrees above average, before dropping off back towards average and going very unsettled once again. So we've got a very warm, very dry spell coming up this next 5-6 days. For many, it actually started today, but we're really going to see those temperatures ramp up through Wednesday and Thursday, peaking through Saturday, Sunday, maybe into Monday in a few areas. Make sure you do go out and enjoy. It's the first proper warm spell, I'd say, widespread warm spell we've had of the spring. And again, signs to come of what we should be expecting as we head into the summer, but much more positive compared to what we've had recently, especially through the second half of April. And I said throughout April, these sort of conditions were coming. It's inevitable we're going to get this warm, dry spell at some point, and it finally looks like it's on our doorstep. So I said, thanks for watching. Hope you enjoyed. Subscribe if you're new, and I'll see you again for another video soon.